Hey, and welcome to another 1 year later review. This time we're going to be revisiting the Black Veiled Bride's self-titled album, also known as 4. So Black Veiled Brides are kind of one of those bands that people often dismiss based on either their aesthetic or based on their fan base, which generally consists of teenage girls focusing on the vocalist Andy Biersack. So they've kind of been a band that I've generally dismissed in the past. Now I would say that I've given them a chance. I've never kind of just outright dismissed them. I've always tried to listen to them because I've just want to give every band, even bands I probably know I'm not going to like, just at least a chance to kind of see if maybe they'll surprise me. And it's never anything I've been kind of attracted to. It's never anything that's kind of caught my attention. Their songs kind of sound boring and stale and generally all sound the same. This album, however, kind of did actually surprise me. I had been hearing that they had gone for a different sound, that this is improved. People had been talking about it's actually a good album for once. So I decided to actually give this album a chance, and I'm very glad I did. This is actually a fun album to listen to. It's got a lot of cheese on it. It's lighthearted in its tone, but it's still got those dark elements to it. It's definitely a heavier album than I've heard from them in the past. It feels like there's a lot more talent on this album. They no longer sound like a Motley Crue ripoff. However, the influence of the 80s metal scene on them is very prevalent in this album. If you do like bands like, I would say, Def Leppard or Motley Crue, you're probably going to enjoy this album. It's kind of like those bands if they were doing metalcore today. So it's got a mix of that heaviness with that kind of cheesy, poppy metal sound that was prevalent in the 80s. And overall, it works very nicely. It definitely flows nicely on this album. There's a lot of kind of feeling like it's trying to be more epic than it actually is as an album. At times it feels like they do kind of take themselves a little bit too seriously for the tone of the album. But overall, like I said, I'm very happy that I did give this album a chance because it is a very enjoyable album to listen to. There are definitely some standout tracks on here. I would say Stolen Omen is probably one of my favorite tracks off this album. Also, you have Faithless, which is kind of one of those songs, like I said, that's kind of trying to sound a little bit more epic or deeper than it actually is, but it's still a great song to listen to. So overall, how does this album stand up about a year later? I would say pretty well. I still do enjoy listening to this album. There are still a lot of tracks that I do go back to. There's some that I kind of dismissed that I didn't really particularly enjoy on the first listen through and still don't really enjoy today. They kind of haven't grown on me at all. Particularly the song Walk Away, which kind of is this ballady track. It's slower. Like I said, again, an example of trying to sound more epic than it actually is or deeper than it actually is. It's kind of a perfect example of it. So I would highly recommend trying to give this album a chance, even if you've dismissed this band in the past, even if you have issues with their fan base, whatever. It's a fun album to listen to. It's got that 80s kind of cheese to it. Once you get past that layer, there's a lot of raw talent on this album with the vocals, with the guitar, with the drumming, with everything. So it is actually a good album to listen to. So if you've been dismissing this band for a while, I say give this album a chance. You're probably going to at least find something you may like on it.